Okay, I don't know how the format of this video is going to be, but I do want to try something that I wanted to do for a while here, which is basically go through Stephanus's 1550 edition of the Greek New Testament and show the different ligatures that are used in that text, this Receptus edition, and then it'll have a lot of carryover to like Byzantine manuscripts and things like that. If you ever are interested in looking at any kind of minuscule manuscript and you can't really read it because of the ligatures, if you do something like this and get sort of practice and get used to seeing these different styles of ligatures, it makes it a lot easier to read these fonts basically. A lot of people try to learn New Testament Greek, and they're used to seeing the font that you find in like your text editions in A28 or whatever. And then if you go to try to find something in a minuscule manuscript, it's like impossible to read because you don't know what these letters are. So that's kind of what I want to help out with. So what I want to do is basically learn or read through some of this, and then we will take a look at every time we encounter a new ligature. We will examine it, look at how it's written, and then go through it together. And then once you've seen enough of these, you'll start getting used to that. Then you'll be able to pick one of these up and just read it naturally. So I'm hoping that this is big enough to where someone using a screen at least could see these letters. But we'll go ahead and see how this is the first one we'll do like this, and then we'll see how the video turns out. So Αποκάλυψης Ιησού Χριστού in έδωκεν αυτό ο Θεός. So the revelation of Jesus Christ, which is in έδωκεν αυτό, which was given to him, which God gave to him, δείξε της δούλης αυτού αδί γένεσθε εντάχει, or εντάχει. So to show to his servants, that which must come to pass quickly. That's just something shortly come to pass. So we've already seen in this short section, we've seen 5 or 6 different ligatures here. So if we go and look at some of these, the way that they're written, so you have Isu Christu. So the first thing that's difficult to see is that there's actually, it looks like there's a missing letter here, right? So you have Isu, that looks like Krisu with no tau. But if you look carefully, you'll notice that the sigma here is the sigma that you would usually put at the end of a word. So if you ever read a Greek New Testament, you'll see the sigma at the end of a word is different from one that's in the middle of a word. Normally in the middle, it looks more like that. But if they put the one that normally goes at the end in the middle, you'll find that they normally extend out this stem just a little bit and then go to the next letter. That is where they combined sigma and the tau, and so you get Christu. The end letters here, this is just an upsilon. Sometimes you will find that will be the sigma. But usually you see these 2 letters, that's the upsilon. So Isu Christu. So that's how you would write it in a normal modern Greek font. Then you have in, which is just eta and then nu. So eta nu, in. You see that word also in John 1:1, which is in a different form, totally different verb, but it still is eta and nu, and it's written like this. So the thing you got to pay attention to is you will see this letter particularly very often anytime you have an eta and a nu next to each other. The way you know this is a nu in the second half is because it's got the loop on the left-hand side. So when it comes up and does this loop, it's on the left-hand side of this U shape. When it's on the left-hand side, That's like a nu. Whereas if it's on the right hand side, that would be more like a mu. But in this case, so you have the eta, which doesn't look anything like a normal eta, but when it's next to a nu, that's the way they use it. So you'll get used to seeing that exact shape, and then when you come across it, you'll be able to read it. It'll be very natural to you to see it, but just remember that is in, which is eta and nu. Then it said, so edkan αυτό ο Θεός δείξ της δούλης αυτού. So αυτού is where you get your next little ligature. Notice that this upsilon here looks very similar to the nu in the previous letter, but when it's behind an alpha, it's your normal alpha upsilon. So alpha upsilon and then tau, and then you have u, which is this word here, aftu. So you will see this very common because in Greek this word aftu is extremely common. So that's how you would write that in modern Greek, but you'll see that u, and then just this collection here of tau with omicron upsilon will often be written like that. Then you have geneste, which is the next kind of difficult word to read. Geneste. So that is geneste like this. So you'll see these first three letters here will be very difficult for someone who's not used to reading this style to recognize. So the gamma is easy, but then you'll notice that epsilon in these manuscripts often takes a very different form. Epsilon can be written like this. You will see it take a shape like that. You will see it take a shape like that. So whenever you have gamma epsilon nu or mu epsilon nu, you will have this kind of big loop shape, and then the nu will come up. So a nu is often written like that. So you've got this kind of thing that comes up, and the loop will be on the left hand side, just like this, but there's no tail that goes down. So you'll recognize that as epsilon nu whenever you see this big flourished kind of a shape. So gamma epsilon nu, and then this letter is actually just a sigma and a theta that are next to each other, so they get combined. So geneste or genestai. So this right here, geneste, will be the sigma and the theta put together. So whenever you have so many different ligatures like that within the same word, it really does become complicated to read if you haven't been used to how they used to combine letters like that. There's another form of the letter epsilon. Sometimes the letter epsilon is just a single curve right there at the beginning of a letter. So N, you'll also see that in ek. So epsilon kappa or epsilon nu will look like that. That'll be very common. So you'll be able to recognize that that's epsilon, and then you've got your nu there. So that's how they would write that. And then entaki. So that was the last word in the sentence that we wrote. Taki. Really common to write a tau as a big letter and then tie it into the alpha. E is very easy to recognize. It's a giant X, but then you see this letter here, the epsilon. Again, epsilon takes many different shapes in this type of Greek. Got this kind of like that going on. And so that little wrap around, it wraps around the iota. Combine the epsilon and the iota. Aki, be written like that. That's the first sentence. So in one sentence we have 6 different forms that would be difficult to recognize if you hadn't read this style of writing in the past. So basically you have to encounter dozens of these, and you'll still even find some that you can't remember or that look really strange. The more you read it, the more you get used to it. Και σήμανε αποστήλας δια του αγγέλου αυτού το δούλο αυτού Ιωάννη. Το αποστήλας, so the difference here, you've got this old style alpha. Then again, you have a sigma that would normally look like it would be at the end of the word. And then you've got this long straight stem here. That is a sigma, tau. You got epsilon, iota, lambda. And then you've got that sigma on the end. So that's apostilas. Two. So you'll recognize that easily. And then angelu. So this is a difficult one to sometimes see. So that's the way that would be written back then. So this is more like a capital letter gamma. They just shove that in front, and then you have gamma, and then this big looping epsilon. And when it's connected like this, almost looks like a J coming down. This is a lambda. So angelu. So that one will be kind of hard to see if you're not used to it. Angelu, tu apostilas, and that's the next line. All right. Όσο μαρτύρηση τον λόγων του Θεού. So let's see. All right, so this is ton and then logon. So you see the tau and then big omicron and then a nu on the inside. This is just a formula we just have to remember, and you'll be able to recognize it when you see it. Logon, you see the lambda has combined with the omicron. The gamma has combined with the omicron. Then tu, which we've already seen, theu, ketin. So if you notice, this form here looks, if you just omit this tau, it looks almost identical to this in here, which was an ida nu. So that was the same form as we had up top here, in. And so that's what you see here, tin. So you'll see that and recognize it. So tin, martirian. So that is martirian. There's a mute, then it wraps up here with the alpha, and then flows into this row. So martirian. So this row looks totally different. It's kind of just a big loop combined with the iota and then an. Then Isu Christu. Osateide. These words are kind of written normally. Then you have this sigma combined with the tau again, which we've already seen. That's kind of a introduction there. Anyway, so this was the first part of going through Revelation, just to find out all the different ligatures there are in this form of Greek. If you want to see more, then just let me know in the comments, and let me know what else would improve this style of video, and then we'll try to make them better as we go. But with that, this concludes the video. So take care. See you next time.